Hey everyone, what's going on? It's your boy Krebsy Crypto, and for today's video we're going to be taking a look at an article that's about here's what could happen after Bitcoin runs out of supply. Now with this article, it's not about any price prediction or anything like that. It's actually a lot of information about Bitcoin and it being only 10% supply left. So it gives you a lot of insight into the actual metrics and working of Bitcoin. So this is loaded with information that we'll go over, and hopefully you'll come out with a little more information about Bitcoin. And with the 10% remaining, it's actually a decent amount left and we still have time left for mining and things like that. But this article is going to explain it, and let's go take a look at it. So on December 13th, cryptocurrency Bitcoin reached 90% of its maximum supply. A research by blockchain.com revealed that the total of the supply of 21 million Bitcoins, 18.89 million have already been mined and are circulating in the market. The milestone comes almost after 12 years after the first block, which consisted of 50 Bitcoin, was mined on January 9th, 2009. Now you may be thinking to yourself, but there's only 21 million and 18.89 million have already been mined. Well, each time Bitcoin halves, which we'll explain a little bit more in this article, the reward gets smaller and smaller. So the first block, as we said, consists of 50 Bitcoins. So when a miner hit a block, they got 50 Bitcoins. But after a few years and a few more years and so on and so forth, that reward starts getting smaller and smaller, so you start receiving, less Bitcoin. And with the global hash rate of Bitcoin going up and reaching all-time highs yet again, it makes it a little harder to actually get these Bitcoins. So with the 21 million and 18.89 already being mined, there's 2 or 3 million or something like that left in order for it to hit the 21 million. I don't know, I haven't really did the math, I just kind of quickly did it there. So it seems like, it's just a little bit left, but the process is a while for it to actually be mined. So Bitcoin is one of the few cryptocurrencies with a limited supply. Bitcoin inventor Satoshi Nakamoto capped the number of Bitcoin at 21 million to make the cryptocurrency scarce and control the inflation that might arise from an unlimited supply of a cryptocurrency. And the rest of this article just explains the process of actual mining, which is solving the mathematical puzzles to verify and validate blocks of the transaction. So that's what you do when you are mining, and then usually you receive block rewards for that if you are solo mining. But also if you're in a pool, you put your power together and then that pool splits the block reward. That's why when you pool mine, sometimes you're just why do I get this little bit, or why is it pieces? It's because you're grouping together and then the block itself gets distributed amongst everyone in the pool that did help with that block. So that's pool mining and solo mining differences there. I know most people already know that, but just in case, it's just more information. The more knowledge, the more you know. And then the limited supply part with the scarcity and the inflation itself. The scarcity is going to most likely increase the value, just like real life objects. So when something is scarce or rare itself, it becomes higher value. So that happens with a lot of these mineable cryptocurrencies. Once it hits its capped and it can't be quote unquote mined anymore, then the value goes higher because it's harder to get that coin, because you physically just, the only way is buying it instead of actually mining it. Let's go down a little bit more here. It should be noted that every 4 years the reward for mining Bitcoin is halved. So when Nakamoto created Bitcoin in 2008, the reward for confirming a block of transaction was 50 Bitcoins. In 2012 it halved to 25 Bitcoins, and then it went down to 12.5 in 2016. Then in May 2020, miners stood to earn 6.25 Bitcoin for every new block. And by the end of 2024, so another 2 or 3 years yet, it is expected that miners will only earn 1.56 Bitcoin for verifying a block of transactions. This process is called halving and will continue until the last Bitcoin is mined. So when you hear of people talk about, for example, Ravencoin and the halving coming up, or the halving happening soon, that's what happens is each few years the coin ends up halving and you get less of a reward. So like I said, with the only 18.89 million being mined and 21 million left, soon enough when miners get the reward, they're only getting 1.56 Bitcoin. So it makes it harder to actually build up because, like I said, the global hash rate and everything, there's a lot of factors that come in play. It may seem like a small number, but it's going to take a little bit longer. And just on a side note, most mineable coins do have this halving process. It's just a normal thing. It helps with the value, makes it consistent, because most people assume when something halves, it becomes a higher value because, well, there's less of that coin being out there and being accessible and being mined. There's a lot of factors that come into play. It may seem that the world's most popular cryptocurrency is close to being exhausted, but Bitcoin's halving schedules predict that the remaining 10% supply will sustain until February 2140, as per blockchain.com. So as I was saying earlier on, like I said, you still have lots of time with Bitcoin and still have time to kind of get involved with it if you are new to it even. But 2140, just think about that, we're going on to 2022 or 2023, whatever. And that goes on till 2140. So like, example, myself, I'll be long gone before even the last Bitcoin is even mined. So it still has a long process, a long future ahead of itself. So don't get worried if people bring this up as FUD, like there's only 10% left of Bitcoin. Oh no, the value is going to crash, it's all over. No, in theory, it actually will increase in value in my prediction, just because of the fact it becomes more scarce and everything. And furthermore, the total number of Bitcoins are not available for open market distribution. Chain analysts on analytics firm revealed that around 3.7 million Bitcoins have already been lost due to various reasons, including loss of access to one's private key, death, and other reasons as well. So we have to take that into play as well. There's been some that have been lost over the years. There's some just people have lost private keys too, but who knows if they fully lost them. Maybe they're hanging on to them. There's a lot of different side factors that go into that, and there's many factors in just general life that people lose the wallet keys. Obviously death, like I said, with this being going till 2140, right? Some people try to hang on till like the end and try to predict that the end of Bitcoin is going to be here or there. You can't predict this thing. It's kind of like the stock market. I don't care how many like analysts and stuff. There's been so many people that have been wrong with this stuff. There's some few people that have been right. Like, it's a very hit or miss thing. You can't predict these type of things. So who knows, maybe in another few years there could be more lost private keys, more deaths obviously, and other factors to bring into account when you're accounting for the Bitcoin supply and like the price of it itself for the future. And then quickly here, I just want to go over some of the implications that it might have on when it is nearing its limit. Like, it's not going to be always like bad implications, but just some notable things to go over here. Like the impact on mining. After reaching 21 million supply in circulation, Bitcoin will become more scarce and miners will be dependent on transaction fees instead of block rewards. The miners will start earning more out of transactions that happen on these blockchains than from the mining itself. So they will be earning more on like verifying transactions, it seems, compared to mining itself. Mining won't be really a thing anymore because the supply will be gone. So it's just going to be tradable coins, sellable ones, people exchanging them. So miners will get rewarded somehow through that process. And even furthermore, there have been some future efforts to change the underlying Bitcoin technology possibly. Experts continue to speculate on the future once the maximum limit is reached. Some analysts claim new technologies will likely help to cut the cost of mining. Bitcoin mining requires high-power computers, obviously, just a lot of electricity, which will eventually result in more profit for miners because they're not paying so much for electricity. So however the process works for transactions and verifying them and things like that, the miner themselves are going to make more money because it's not going to be so power intensive. But some others suggest that Bitcoin's platforms will only be used for large transactions of very high value, which will offer significant revenue to keep stakeholders satisfied. So we all know with Bitcoin being the first cryptocurrency of its kind, there were like higher transaction fees and things like that. Like as we look at it now, back then it wasn't as bad, but now as newer technology came out, the transaction fees and stuff like that looked a little higher on Bitcoin. The process time for transactions is slower compared to other ones. So they're pretty much saying that it's only going to be used for large transactions, most likely because of that case. That's what I assume is because of the high rate of fees and things like that. When you have Litecoin and things like that, and Digibyte and Solana, if you have a few others I could go on that have like very low fees and are fast transaction times, people think that those eventually are going to overtake like Bitcoin in a way, but that's a whole nother story. Like I said, I don't want to get into that. I just wanted to get into like the behind the depth of this 10% being left, so you guys are informed and educated, and maybe you learned a little something more about Bitcoin that you didn't know. But yeah, that's all we got for this article. So overall, it doesn't seem like it's gonna have a huge negative impact. People are still able to make income off of mining for verifying transactions and things like that, and there's a potential where energy consumption won't be as big as a thing because you won't have so many Bitcoin miners, and who knows what technology is gonna be out by then. That's such a long path and road down ahead. We can't really predict that, in my opinion. Like I said, I just want to go over the backbone of things. But I will be getting back to my tutorial videos. It's just like I said before, there's only very many tutorials I can do, and once I find something new, I will post that for tutorials for mining and things like that. Just in the meantime, to kind of fill up the space, why not go over some mining news? That's kind of what I want to stick to, the main mineable coins. If there's news like this that comes out, like you've seen with Doge and other things, I'm just expanding my content for mining purpose, you know what I mean, just to give you guys more knowledge. And it helps me too, because some things I didn't even know, and now I know because of this article. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button. And if you enjoy this type of video, let me know in the comments below. As like I said, it's still kind of a new style I'm trying out, and any positive feedback just helps me out and lets me know. And don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button if any of my tutorials helped you out, or if you enjoy these news videos, as that also helps me out because I know I'm supplying good content for you guys and you all are enjoying it. But I hope you all have an amazing day, and this is Krebsy Crypto signing out.